Good evening, viewers. Welcome back to the channel. So here's something a little bit different. So I got back today from a holiday, short holiday. And when I say got back today, I literally got back about 2 hours ago. So I've been on a camping holiday with my little girl to Porthmadog in North Wales, on the North Wales coast in the UK. Somewhere where I go for a drive occasionally, because it's not too far. It's about a 90-minute drive from where I live, and they've got a great model shop. So it was very, well, let's say it was very fortunate that that's where I decided to go for my holiday. I'll let you be the judge of whether that had any bearing on why I chose that for my holiday. But anyway, yeah, had a great week by the beach with my daughter. A lot of fun times in tent. Fire pit at night, toasting marshmallows, all the good fun things you do with your kids. Had a really good time. But I also spent a couple of days walking around Porthmadog itself, and inevitably found myself in the model shop. If you haven't been to Porthmadog models at all, anybody, which I suspect the majority of you looking at my videos might not have done, it's a great model shop, and I realise it may well be a bit of a trek from where you live. Even if you're in the UK, it's not going to be something that's near to everybody. But if you do get a chance to go there, it's a lovely model shop. Lots of a variety of model kits. There's a lot of aircraft. If I'm honest, the selection of 1/48 scale aircraft isn't too good, which isn't great for me, because I tend to only build 48 scale. But there is an awful lot of 72nd scale aircraft in there. They've also got more than you tend to see in your average model shop in 32nd scale as well. They've got some stuff in there, and they've also got quite a few more unusual items that you don't see in your average hobby shop in 24th scale as well. In addition, they've got a lot of vehicular kits as well. Lots of cars. I don't know too much about those, so I'm not going to tell you whether they're unusual, rare, or anything like that. But there's definitely quite a selection of cars in there, and they've also got really good strong selection of armor as well. So tanks, half tracks, APCs, that sort of thing. Again, not my field of expertise, so I'm not going to tell you that they are good stuff, bad stuff, but I do spend a lot of time at model shows and the like, and there's definitely a lot of stuff in there that I don't see when I'm wandering around model shows looking for things to buy, which is basically how I spend most of my time at model shows. So I think it's a great shop. It's not cheap, but it's not extortionately priced either. It's fair. So and at the end of the day, the guy's got to make a living, haven't we all? So I'm always more than happy, and I very rarely go in there and come out without something. So when I went in there, I actually came out with two kits. I came out with a Edard 48 scale Tempest Mark II Profi Pack as well, which was a very nice kit. But this one my daughter actually spotted, and I confess I didn't see it the first time I was looking through, and I don't know whether it's because it's a special hobby kit. I've never built a special hobby kit. I've never seen one open. I mean, I've seen them occasionally floating around, but they tend to always be 72nd scale that I see, so I don't really pay too much attention to them. I don't really see many in 48 scale, and certainly never seen this particular subject. Very unusual one, as you can see. This is the V. The V stands for Vought, I believe. So the V173 Flying Pancake. So it seems like a bit of an odd name until you look at the aircraft, but it is pretty well named. It's an odd looking thing, and my understanding on these is not great, but I believe it was sort of World War II era, when the US military were experimenting with all-wing design aircraft. So basically looking at using the body as the lift generating part of the airframe, rather than having wings as per your typical monocoque fighter planes. and it is designed with the aim of it being a fighter. But yeah, as you can see, it's a very odd looking thing. But I believe they were initially very successful. It was actually quite a successful prototype. Was pretty fast for a piston engined aircraft of the period. Was comparable or faster than most other things that were on the battlefield at the time. And it was actually moved to so this was basically a sort of a proof of concept vehicle. So I think they made 2 or 3 of these and used them for test flights to prove that the basic concept was sound. It wasn't very structurally robust. You know, it was made of sort of light materials, not very, you know, it had no armor, etc. And there was no armament added onto it. So it was basically just to prove that the damn thing would fly, because it doesn't look like it should, really, does it? And then they went ahead with building a more production model of this, which never really got above or out of the test phase. I'm not quite sure what the reason for that was. I think it might be the advent of jet technology, because this is piston driven aircraft at around about a time where the jet engine was just starting to become a factor in fighter design. But I'm sure there'll be lots of you out there that know more about this than I do. I just bought it because it was strange looking, and my daughter liked it. It's not often a chance you get to build anything that's yellow either, which is a bit interesting. It's going to be difficult, I imagine, to paint, because yellow is a bitch to paint. But it should be good fun. So I'm just going to take a look in the box. But being a manufacturer that I'm not familiar with, I don't have any massive expectations, I'm not going to lie. I did have a look in it a little earlier, but just to give you my first impression. So let's do a quick unboxing. So taking a look around the box, it is, as you can see, a very basic boxing. So let's open this up. Okay, it wasn't a horrendously expensive kit, but it wasn't cheap. It was I think £36. So you expect a reasonably decent kit. And the first thing you can say when you look at the sprues here is, and I guess it's to be expected, right, given the design of the aircraft itself. The fuselage is basically 2 big pieces. It's almost like a flying saucer. Right, you're just going to glue the 2 halves together, and you got 90% of the work is done. One thing that does strike me is that the texture of the plastic is very rough. I'm not quite sure how that's going to translate into a paint coat, but you can probably hear it from my fingers, running my fingers along it. Shouldn't make that sort of noise. If you listen to how it sounds when I run my finger along the sprue, it's smooth, right, and there's no noise. When I run it along the fuselage, it's a definite raspy sound, and that is because it is not a smooth plastic. I don't know whether that's intentional, designed to give you a desired texture. I think it's probably not intentional. I think it's probably just because of the way they have to mold it to get this sort of slatted appearance to it. I'm not sure, but I mean, it's not a bad molding. There is some raised detail on there, but there is also some recessed panel lining as well. So there's some positives in that regard. There's a little bit of flash around certain areas, around these holes here. You can see little bits around where the fuselage attaches to the sprue tree as well. But considering that I have very no expectations of what I'm getting into with this kit at all, I'm mildly okay with that. I'm not too disappointed. Again, we have some more pieces here. We've got the not even sure how you refer to the different parts of this aircraft. This is very unusual in its design. Whether you call these the tail fins, maybe, or the elevators, I'm not sure. It also has a fixed undercarriage. It's not a retractable undercarriage, so this will attach directly onto the bottom of the aircraft somehow. Not quite sure how that's going to work. But again, there's nothing too distressing about the mouldings. There's a little bit of flash, but nothing that you can't tidy up, and it's certainly not horrific. I've got some more details here, which I guess is for the interior. I've absolutely no idea how the cockpit is going to work inside this, so this will be an interesting experience, because as you probably know, most model aircraft for fighters tend to be pretty similar in regard to how the cockpit is arranged internally, particularly for World War II era fighters, but this one looks a little different. So again, this sprue, if anything, looks to be a bit better molded. There's less flash on this one. There's definitely a little bit of detail. There's not loads of detail, don't get me wrong. It is far from a dark kit, but there's enough here to not be disappointed with it. And then there are some absolutely enormous propellers. I'm just looking at that. There's only got 3 blades on the prop. Yep. Okay. It's a 3-bladed propeller, which is absolutely fine. Okay. So I guess the takeaway there is there's not an awful lot of building to be done. Also look like we've got a little bit of, I don't know what these are. I don't know if these are resin or, not sure. Not sure what they are at all. And then we have the cockpit. This looks very, in fact, this looks very well molded. There's nice crisp lines for the cockpit panes, so it should be very easy to mask it off. It should have no problems distinguishing what is glass and what is not glass to get your masking done on here. I mean, there's quite a few panes involved, so it might take you a little bit of time and a little bit of patience, but it shouldn't be too difficult to do with some degree of accuracy. So again, I look forward to doing that. The sprue is broken, which is fortunate. That hasn't actually damaged any of the pieces inside. No huge complaints there. Decal sheet, as you can imagine, is very, very limited. Right, this was not a production aircraft, and it was a non-production aircraft in a time where there weren't many decals on aircraft anyway. Few sort of livery schemes tended to be a little bit sparse. There's some sort of national insignia and some numbering lettering. So again, they look, I mean, I'll reserve judgment on them until I build the kit, but they're by somebody called Dead Design, if that means anything to anybody. But they look pretty decent. Yeah, no worries on those. Instructions seem to be pretty sparse. So we just have some sprue details about what we should expect to have in the kit. Some diagrams about how to put together the various components. Actually, considering it's a relatively basic kit, the instructions look pretty clear, pretty concise. They're not organised in your usual way that you see them, but they don't seem too difficult to follow. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. Okay, well, all looks pretty good. Yeah, shouldn't be too much difficulty with those. And there is one little diagram on the back giving you the paint scheme, complicated as it clearly isn't. So that shouldn't be too hard at all. Look forward to doing that. Okay, there we go. What we have there is the Special Hobby 1/48 scale V173 Flying Pancake. I know when I do a lot of these kit unboxings, I'm often commenting that it could be a while before I get to build these. This one is something which is so unusual. I really do plan to build this as one of my next couple of kits, and probably even my next kit. So I've got a few kits on the go at the moment, but nothing that I'm particularly excited about. I'm looking to start this one very soon. But yeah, if you've got any questions or any comments to add about the kit in general, or just as a wider commentary on Special Hobby or the aircraft itself, if you have anything you'd like to enlighten me with, I really don't know much about it. If you've built the kit, I would really love to see the finished article, just so I can get a bit of a feel for what I'm looking for myself. But no, thank you very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. I'm still looking to build my subscriber base. I don't post too many videos at the moment, but I'm trying to get more content produced. If you've got anything in particular that you'd like to see, let me know. If I've got it in the stash, I might be able to do a video. If there's anything that I can answer as far as my very limited modelling skills go, then I'm always more than happy to give you my 2 cents worth. I don't make any profession to be a expert of any sort, but you know everybody's experience is different. If it's something that I've done or something that I've come across I can help with, always happy to chip in. So yeah, once again, thanks very much for watching. Have a good evening, and I hope to see you back on the channel again soon.